In Buddhism, they have two stages or two phases for achieving enlightenment. So, the first stage is called the generation stage, and the second stage is called the completion stage. So, the first stage, the generation stage, is called the Father Tantra, or is connected to the Father Tantra, the masculine aspect. And the completion stage is connected to the Mother Tantra, the feminine aspect. So, and after you complete the two stages of masculine and feminine, you go through a union phase of those two phases. And through that, you achieve a complete union of the two opposites of dark and light, duality, masculine, feminine, which is the yab yam. So you can do a little bit of research on the generation phase and the completion phase, which is connected to the Father Tantra and the Mother Tantra. So the generation phase is basically you going through your spiritual journey, uncovering the true nature of reality, and realizing what this world is really about, which is literally our world and our earth and everything that we interact with on an earthly level, not just a spiritual concept, a mental spiritual concept, but knowing the direct true nature of reality, knowing the ground itself, knowing what we're interacting with, what we're consuming, knowing the authority forces, knowing the powerful influential forces, the education system, anything that needs our energy and that needs our time, and that we are participating in a system. Basically, the generation stage unveils that system for you. The masculine Father Tantra also teaches us to use our skill. It is connected to the skillful means. So we are meant to physically use our skills, our discernment, our wisdom, our ability to learn our scriptures, our ability to discover the truth, find disclosure, find the truth among all of this deceptive chaos. So, using your skill, using your abilities, and using the Father Tantra, the masculine, skillful ability side of yourself to decode this reality and unveil the system, what it is really about, and not just being a mere participant, but being a conscious participant and knowing what the system is doing, who these people are, what they are saying, and really uncovering and unveiling the true nature of reality and not just being a consumer in it. So once you are in your Father Tantra generation phase of using your skillful means to uncover the true nature of this reality, knowing the identity of Christ, knowing the identity of our Father, knowing the false fabricated systems of the world, knowing the transgender elite, knowing all the lies that has been set up on every facet of our lives, that we are just partaking in a satanic system that is not contributing to our own spiritual identity personally and has nothing to do with us. And this whole system is based on Satanism, and it is Satan's world and it's Satan's system, and everything we do, we go to school, we go to work, we earn money, we buy a car, we have a baby, it's all for Satan. We are not doing it for ourselves. We are not doing it for our spiritual identity. We are not doing it to go rapture and go to heaven, but we are doing it for Satan because it is his system. So in your generation phase, you will discover all of this. You will discover all the lies and all the fabrications. You'll discover all the identity of the beast system. You will discover who the players are, the shadow elite, the ruling people from behind the scenes, who are the real puppet masters. So you will get to know them. You'll get to know their identity, which is given in the Hebrew scriptures, especially in the book of Revelation, which is the beast system. All their identity is written down. So you will get an opportunity to know the characters and the players that are behind the scenes and hiding in an extremely covert expression that they are a part of our reality and they know us personally, and they watch our birth and all the way to till we achieve our spiritual mission. So once you discover all this and go through your massive generation phase, which might take you a few years to understand everything, grasp everything, and acclimate to like this new ground that you are opened to by Father and Christ, that you will be given the opportunity to go through this generation phase in the ground of Father, which because it is the Father Tantra, the generation phase is to do with the masculine father principle. So in that Father's field, in that Father's ground, you will go through a generation phase, and you'll go through a massive, massive disclosure, and you will basically be stripped down to your own naked truth, into your own true self. You will discover your own true identity, because all of these layers that you are wearing currently, it's all false and deception, and you have to strip all of those layers and discover your own naked truth. When Father opened you up to the generation ground or the generation stage, and you start learning, you will discover that your personal identity is the most hijacked identity. And all of these fabrications in your life has been put there by the shadow elite, the fallen shadow elite that are behind the scenes doing all these things to you. So all the sins that you have committed, the things that you wish you never did or wish you never happened in your life, those things you never did them. Those things were planned and scripted and put in your life on purpose by the shadow elite and the dark forces. They did those things to you. You did not commit those sins. You did not think it from your heart and your mind. It did not arise in your mind, but someone put those things in your life, created those instances and made those incidents happen in your life. You didn't do them. So all of these things will be revealed to you, but at this stage it is totally hidden. After you have a solid understanding of this reality and the total veil rips off, it totally, completely, everything is open, and there is no veil between you and Father, you and the angels, you and the ruling elite, you and the dark forces mainly, and also you and Christ, and you and yourself as well. There's a veil between you and yourself as well. So all of those layers and layers and layers of veils will be stripped off through your generation phase, with the help of Christ and with the help of Father and the angels of Christ. And the angels of heaven will help you in that journey. And you'll go through this massive detoxification, massive revelation after revelation after revelation. And then you will get to a point where everything will be stripped off, and you will understand the true nature of this reality and the massive psychological system. After all the veils are lifted through your generation phase, utilizing your skillful means and learning the massive amounts of lies and discovering all the lies and washing yourself with the truth, the word of Christ. And once you do that, you will enter your completion phase, and then you will basically isolate yourself. Like, it will feel like an isolation because you'll start cutting off friends, family, work systems. You'll start getting rid of your Netflix account, your music. You'll maybe burn all your books. You'll get rid of all your fake creativities, all your hobbies, all those fake stuff you will get rid of, because creativity and hobbies sometimes are demonic possessions as well. So you'll isolate yourself, and you will enter into more of a refinement process. The completion stage consists of 6 levels. So the first one is physical isolation, second, verbal isolation, third, mental isolation, fourth, understanding the relative truth, fifth, understanding the ultimate truth, and sixth, union of those two truths. So this is the 6 levels of the completion phase that you will go through. So physical isolation, verbal isolation, mental isolation is basically a refinement process of your body, mind, and speech, that you are getting rid of all the false scenarios of your body, mind, and speech, and basically isolating yourself to Christ and Father. And the relative truth is Christ himself, and the ultimate truth is our Father in heaven. And gaining a union of the relative and the ultimate truth, that is your 6th phase of union. So the first 3 stages of your completion stage, which is physical isolation, verbal isolation, mental isolation, And these are the body, speech, and mind composites of your spiritual identity. So the body, speech, and mind are the three main trinity, which is like the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. So you have to work on purifying those three things. So physical, mental, verbal isolation is basically getting rid of all the false doctrines and all the false fabrications of this reality, and spiritually isolating your body, mind, and speech to gain refinement and total purification of the Holy Trinity that is inside of you. And this body, mind, and speech is also like the three wind channels in your body. So the red, white, and blue wind channels is a direct position of your body, mind, and speech. And the last three stages is the relative truth, which is called the illusory body, the ultimate truth, which is called the clear light, and the union of the two truths. So the relative truth is known as the truth of this reality of dark and light, duality, which is also Christ, because Christ takes action in duality, whereas our Father doesn't take action in duality. So he is considered the ultimate truth. So he is the Buddha, and he doesn't partake in duality, in dark and light. He's always neutral. So he created the relative truth. He created Christ, who will take action in duality and help and solve the duality problem. Whereas the Buddha can perceive the dark and light, but he's not going to partake in it. So he created relative truth, which is Christ, to come down here and solve the problems. This expression of the relative truth you can find in the mainstream science of the theory of relativity, which is done by Satan and his Satan Einstein. So Einstein is a character on the world stage, and he is not a real scientist, because our Father is the ultimate creator of everything, and everything Satan does in the mainstream is all false and fabricated. So the E equals mc squared, the theory of relativity, is actually in Buddhism. So a lot of the sciences of Buddhism has been stolen as well. And when you deeply dive into spirituality, then you will see how all the spiritual knowledge has been used for the mainstream, but they're not teaching you the true relativity of what it is, but they're just giving you an Einstein version of relativity. As it says in the Buddhist scriptures, there are only two truths. One is the relative truth, and the other is the ultimate truth. So the ultimate truth is our Father in heaven, which is described as the Buddha, and the relative truth is basically the sun, because Buddha created the Buddha actually created the relative truth so he can manifest in this reality and solved the duality problem that he can perceive as the ultimate Buddha. So in our reality context, Christ is the manifestation of the relative truth, because Christ is the Son of God and Father created Christ to solve our human problem and partake in duality and to solve the problem of death, which Christ has already solved it. So Christ is the relative truth. I will quickly read this verse about the relative truth and the ultimate truth, and how the ultimate truth creates a relative truth that can function in duality. So, having ordained the wisdom eye, he no longer sees beings. He eliminates completely the signs of identity and differences. He rejects all clinging and accepts no dharma. However, the wisdom eye cannot save beings. Why? Because it does not distinguish them. That is why the Bodhisattva produces the Dharma eye. And that's basically Christ. So Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So Buddha is the ultimate truth. Dharma is Christ, the relative truth. Through the relative truth, the Dharma can be spread. And the Dharma is spread to the Sangha, which is the church, and that's the Holy Trinity, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha.